In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of another Genius Brain podcast. I hope you guys are coronavirus free out there. We got a very special guest today. You know, these guys actually started their own podcast called BigggMad. We got Alex over here.
What's up, y'all?
Costa. So today is actually just an intervention, you fucking mango eating bitch.
Ooh. Hey, yo, hey, admit it though.
This dude, okay, hold on for a second.
Admit it though.
Let's
so
talk about
quick.
this shit. I actually wanted to ask everybody who listens to this podcast, who the fuck eats mangoes with the fucking skin on?
Zero people.
Hey,
Zero people.
I'm sure all my Salvies out there know what it is. But hey, we eat that shit with the skin, dog. That's like how you do it. You know what I mean?
So Tiff's parents, they're
listen to
Salvadoran,
this.
100%. Mm-hmm. I asked the mom. I said, Mama Garcia.
Shout out Mama Garcia.
Mama Garcia.
Hey, Mama Garcia.
Mama Garcia.
Okay. He changes his accent. Yeah, Mama Garcia.
She goes, hey, why are you talking like that? I asked her, I say, hey, do people eat mango skins do people eat mangoes with the skin on in El Salvador? And she looked at me, she goes,
She's like,
not really. She was like, she had to think about it. First she said no. And then later she goes, yeah, they actually do.
See, I told
but
you.
The fact that she was like,
nah, she was like
initially,
this.
that's a big sign.
You have to listen to the full set. She was like this. She goes, if they don't have any morals, or if maybe if they're
mira, listen.
She's like, if they're an MS-13, then yes.
Yeah, of course. If they're gang members, then of course.
Oh shit, dog.
Shit,
They use a machete to cut it out. Nah.
It's too hard to use machete to cut the mango.
Hey, so my daddy's from Salvador too, dog. And ever since we were kids, he used to give us the mango. It might have been laziness. Who knows?
Yeah, it sounds like your dad just didn't want to cut the
Like,
fucking skin off.
This fool said, who knows?
Who knows, dog? All I know is that when I eat that shit, I'm like, it's kind of good.
I'll tell you this, though, right now. You also told me that your dad used to beat your ass if you didn't eat all your spaghetti. So,
hey, that's true, dog. Hey, shout out my pops.
Shout out to Papa Costa.
I don't think for a fact that your dad knew what the fuck he was doing. I'm pretty sure you guys said, I want mangoes. And he was like, fuck you, kids. Eat the skin. And then you're like, that shit kind of good, though.
Hey, this shit, only reason why, because he used to eat it too. But hey, that shit's bomb. You take that first bite and then you put that tahini all over that every single bite.
So it's the tahini that does most of the heavy lifting, because tahini on fruits is
And straight up, though,
best.
on the skin, though, you got to take a first bite before the tahini sticks.
Well, that's why I said you got to take the first bite and then that mango show and then you dip it. Hey, but tell him. Hey, tell him.
So this is what it is. Let's start with this story, though. So he's been pressing this whole mango skin thing on me for the longest
This is
time.
the dumbest thing ever.
And it's the funniest thing how when you sometimes buy, I don't know, dehydrated mangoes, do you ever see the fucking skin on? Absolutely not.
No.
So this guy's been pressing
because they can't dehydrate with the skin on.
Yeah, they can't.
Nah.
No, 100% you can dehydrate with the skin on. So he's been pressing this whole fucking mango thing. So he finally brings a juicy ass fucking
Ooh,
mango
that shit
here.
was good,
Now,
too.
prior
that
to
was
this,
a
though,
very juicy mango.
we had a conversation and he was like, watch, look that shit up and see what happens. I've never seen a man show us facts, right? But he covers half the facts with his thumb.
He's like, but read from here down. Read from here down.
I got a
like,
big hand,
mango
you know?
skins are edible. And there's possibly vitamins in the skin. He goes, see, done. He takes the phone away. I was like, no, let me read the rest of this shit. He goes, but there's a lot of pesticides in the skin, and it's advised that you don't eat it because it's bitter. So,
Hey, that's if you don't clean it right, though.
Dude.
So I'm on God. I'm telling you right now.
So before he would tell us that he would eat the mangoes with the skin on, I'd be like, yeah, I bet. Like, I bet it's like doesn't taste that bad. But he brought one for us. David took a bite.
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. But after I took a bite of mine, I doubled down on my stance and I changed completely. And I said,
That's
you know
because
what?
it was so good. Nick just didn't want to agree with everybody.
No. And it wasn't that good. But no one else was like, everybody was like lukewarm. Everybody was like, it's all right.
I will say this, though. That was probably the best picked mango anybody has ever.
But it was so unnecessary. You know what everybody said? They're like, oh, this would be better without the skin. That's
Yeah.
what everybody said.
100%.
I didn't hear that. I blocked that out.
It's on the video,
bro.
dude.
Nah, I blocked that out. I'm telling you, dog, it's all. I told him because remember our homie Alex picked out a yellow mango. I told him like those ones aren't the best to
His
eat.
shit like dried as fuck. It looked like it was in the process
and when
of
he bit it, he was
dehydrating
like,
already.
I'm like, yeah, that's not.
Now,
good.
when he ate that shit, juices came out, though. That shit was juicy as fuck.
Yeah, but that crunch still went, and that juice just went. I'm
Bro,
like,
he's
nah.
holding on to anything he got on this.
Hey, if you eat mangoes with the skin on, comment.
I bet everyone's gonna come out of the woodworks. Everyone's gonna agree.
Nobody is gonna comment. They're just gonna fucking leave a comment on your page and try to get you banned from Instagram.
Hey, it was good though. Hey, but hey, Mango sponsor me, I guess, dog. I'll eat them.
Hold on a second. There's no company called Mango, Alex. What the fuck fuck are you talking
It's
about?
just a general fruit.
It's a general
is the
fruit.
thing.
Hey,
You should see
but-
this guy eat a kiwi and a banana. It's crazy. This guy just fucking
for real.
snaps a banana off with the skin.
His shits are crazy.
Everybody says you can eat kiwi with the skin. I've never tried it, but I want to try it. Really bad.
People say that it's
That's like putting a nutsack in your mouth, bro. That shit's
Yeah.
furry as fuck. Not that I would know though.
But
pause.
people do eat it. Pause.
Hey, pause.
Pause.
Hey,
Bringing it back. Pause.
Then they had me try shrimp. It's the same thing that I think about with shrimp. Y'all eat a whole fucking shrimp. I've never fucking done that before. And it took me 13 minutes to eat the fucking shrimp, the whole entire thing.
First of all, let's talk about this shrimp situation too. Now I've known Alex maybe a year at most, right? This motherfucker's the weirdest guy I've ever met in my life.
The craziest palate, dude.
This fool, first of all, most people when they try new foods, they kind of second guess their options, right? They go, maybe I'll eat that. It looks a little weird. We say, hey, have you tried this? He goes, nah, and he shoves it right in his mouth. He doesn't even ask about the process. He shoves it and he chews at it like a motherfucker. He took this fool to Shabu for the first time.
Oh, that was so bomb, dude.
Yeah, not the first time you did it though, because this dude, he cooked his noodles so much when it came out, that shit looked like Elmer's glue.
Hey,
It was
dog.
a paste of noodles, dude.
And he's so stubborn. I was like, "You cook your noodles like that?" This one said, "He goes, that's how I like it."
He started slurping it.
Hey, no, I swear, like when you make the noodle, like the block noodle,
Yeah.
it says 3 minutes. I'll put it in for like 5 minutes, so they're all like super squishy and shit.
Why do you do it for 5 minutes?
Because it's hotter and it boils the noodle more. I don't know. They come out squishier, dog. That's why I do it.
No, he doesn't know how to eat certain foods. This fool has never had this much Asian food in his life.
Never. Hey, swear.
Bro,
yeah.
David took him to get a banh mi for the second
Hey,
time today.
Second time. The first one, I didn't really get to choose what it was, though. This time I got to choose what it was. Fire. Hey, the bread that they used to is kind of like bolio bread. Tiffany would know it, or she would know what it is because
Yeah.
I told them it was like pan
It's
con
like
pavo.
panes. Yeah. Chicken panes.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Saudi food. I don't. The only thing I've ever had was like pupusas.
Pupusas?
That's it.
That's bomb, too. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, but pan con pavo is fire, dude. We got to take him to a spot.
He loves it. Well, you just come over to Tiff's house whenever they make it because Tiff
Yeah.
won't eat it. She doesn't like that stuff.
I don't know. Tippy working at a hospital. She got coronavirus. I don't trust her.
Shit. Hey, no, but for real, though, I've never had this much Asian food, and like he gave me duck for the first time.
Oh, what'd you think about the duck?
Slapped.
That's tight.
Shout out to
That shit
Hoki
slapped.
Cafe.
That shit slapped, dude. That was good. That little orange sauce or whatever you put on it.
Yeah.
And then he had this bun that had meat in it
The
too.
pineapple bun with the
Dog.
barbecue pork and the butter inside. Come on.
You literally eat anything that's put in front of your face, though.
I will, and I really will. The one thing I ate, I went to like some Chinese buffet in Arizona when I lived there a while
That
back.
sounds already disgusting.
I know, yeah. It sounds like a
sentence
terrible
sounds
choice.
disgusting.
So I don't know what it was. It was it said like deep ocean snail, right?
oh yeah. Ocean snail's fire. I like that shit.
Okay,
if
so
you get
when
it
I-
with garlic and butter, it's hella good.
Yeah.
So it was in the shell though, and I pulled it out, right? And this one was kind of thick. And I swear on my life, so they're coming in, I'm asking like, yo, so how do you eat this, right? Like I asked the ladies, and they're like, oh, just pull it and eat it. I'm like, okay. And then she calls a person over, right? And she's like, she says something, she's like, oh yeah, just pull it out and eat it. I was like, okay, she just told me that, all right? So I put it in my mouth, and I'm trying to chew on it, and nothing's happening, right? I'm like, okay. That shit popped in my mouth.
I don't think that's supposed to happen,
that's
bro.
not.
It popped in my mouth,
I think
right?
you just killed a bunch of baby snails and shit in your mouth.
It popped in
Just
my
get an
mouth,
embryo.
and I swear. So I had a drink. I drank my Coke. I started swishing it around in my mouth. Leaned over my table, opened my mouth. It just started dripping slow out my mouth. So I had to start grabbing napkins and stuff like that. And they were just sitting there smiling. I'm like, I think they did this shit to me on purpose.
Wait. It came out of your mouth?
Yeah, because I opened my mouth.
Oh.
So it was like all sticky and shit in my mouth. So I drank Coke to try to like, like what you do with mouthwash.
So ocean snail is not supposed to be like
Yeah,
that. It's
dude.
supposed to be like a clam. So you probably ate a raw snail, dude. Oh, that is the most disgusting thing. Oh shit!
Hey, blood, I'm telling you, after I swear I was with the Coke, like, and I opened I stopped and I opened my mouth. It slowly started dripping out. I was tripping out. I'm like, yo.
I kid you not. You ate a raw fucking ocean snail.
Don't eat that at a buffet, dude.
Dog, you ate a raw ocean snail. You know what happened, dog? You ate a raw fucking ocean snail.
So guess what? I'm fucking, what's it called? I'm immune to Corona, dog. Fuck that. Dog. I'll eat
got
snails
that.
all day.
You're not
You got that
immune to
deep
corona.
sneak.
You're the source, dude.
Yeah,
what the
dude.
fuck are you
You're
talking
patient
about?
zero.
I'm sorry, dog.
If we put bat soup in front
Have
of
you
you,
guys ever
probably eat
eaten
it.
bugs before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had like crickets and shit like that.
I really wanted to try like the scorpions and stuff. When I was a little kid, like I tried, have you guys ever seen those little red and black bugs?
Ladybugs?
No, That was probably the best description. I'll give you that. No, so
He's like, yeah, I eat ladybugs.
No,
Alex,
so not ladybugs. They look like long and flat. Like they don't have wings. I'm trying to think of
centipedes.
No, it's weird, but
all the grossest.
It has like a crazy like design on it. For some reason, when I was a kid at school, like it was like the cool thing. When I was like in second grade, I would eat them, and people would trip out.
This explains everything about you.
Why the fuck are you eating bugs for,
dude?
How hard was your life growing up?
Hey, protein.
Your dad's over here giving you fucking mango skins. You're eating bugs, and your dad's like, "Hey, man, I take care of you. Like, why you have to eat bugs and shit?"
This kind of explains everything about Alex.
This makes sense. Why the fuck were you eating bugs off the floor, cuz?
Is there anything you wouldn't eat? Like, what's like you're like, oh, I won't even touch that. Besides fucking deep sea snail from Arizona.
As long as I don't know what it is, like, we're going to the Asian spots. You guys tell me this food, like the names, like number one, I can't pronounce them and I don't know what they are, right? So you guys tell me, that's fine, I'll eat it. But if you were to tell me, like he told me today, I told him this today. He told me there's like liver paste or something.
Pate. Yeah.
Yeah. If you just say pate, I'm like, cool, I'll eat it.
That's so weird that you talk about liver like that, but as a child, you saw a bug on the floor, dude, and you were like, that shit slap. And then you grab that.
Hey, that's because they don't taste like anything and you do a quick go.
Yeah, but why would you even think about eating a bug though? Why? How did that happen?
Because like I said, everybody thought it was cool and everybody will watch me do it. So I was just like, oh shit.
Damn.
Put it under my tongue.
Wait, hold on. So like,
go,
okay, let me just. I'm sorry, I gotta collect this shit. Y'all, you're on the playground, you're chilling, right? And the bug is on the floor.
Chilling though.
Okay. All y'all are fucking on the playground chilling. This fucking centipede crawls on the floor, and they were like, "Aha, Alex, I think it'd be kind of cool if you ate that." And you're like, "Bet." And then you grab it and you said, and they're like, "That's tight." And you were like, "I'm gonna be doing this for 6 years straight."
Hell yeah, dude.
You became the most popular kid ever.
So the bugs, and like it's weird because like for some reason when I would do shit like that, another thing, I used to crush cans on my head. Right?
Bro, you would do all these things.
Can I just say this right now? We just sparred today, and I threw a light hook at his head. My knuckles hurt. Your head is the thickest thing I've ever placed my knuckles on. This fool, it doesn't even matter if you get into a pro fight. You're going to knock people out just by breaking their hands on your head.
Hey, what's good? Big head gang. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's a new podcast coming out.
Hey, so yeah, but for real, the reason why I started doing this, this was high school, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you guys were in high school, like before, after, at lunch, you always had the same table that you went to, right? Mm-hmm. So we always had the same table. And one day we had those big Arizona iced tea cans.
Yeah.
And like I just grabbed it.
This fucking tall.
Hold on a second. We got to pause real quick. An Arizona iced tea can.
They're literally this
that
big,
shit
bro.
is like the size of a ruler. There's a length of a fucking whole ruler.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now. Ready? There's a trick to it, dude. So you're
supposed about to blow it. The can was full with liquid.
I'm like, yeah, there's a trick because like at the same time you can get a shower because it waters you. You know what I'm saying? No, so you have to hold it like this. And you kind of like you have to time it perfectly. That's why my timing impeccable, striking impeccable, right? Right before it hits, you have to squeeze your fingers.
Bro, this is the most useless knowledge that anyone can listen
I'm gonna tell you why it's not though. Any high school listening to this, there you go, new trick to make you some money, finesse all these kids, right? Right before it hits, you squeeze and it smashes down so easy, right? So I did it once and everyone's like, oh, what the hell? So I was like, hey, put some money on the table, I'll start crushing cans, right?
So hold on a second.
Wait, what the fuck is wrong
now
with you,
I know how you had friends in high school.
You're a gypsy, you know that?
He was hey, would you like to see a trick, huh? This is how he would start conversations. You know that kid that comes to the new school and he can't make any friends? He just starts doing tricks. He's like, yo, who are you, the new kid? He goes, yeah, you want to see me eat this bug on the floor?
I'm like, hey, $1 though. You know what I'm saying?
You know $1 kid,
hey, the bigger the bug, the bigger the money. You know what I'm saying?
There was how much cash you got? That one weird kid in high school that would do anything for $1, dude. Hey, that motherfucker.
So here's the thing, right? My old brother, love him, dumb as fuck though, because he told my parents when he was in high school, he was like, oh yeah, because he's some small skinny kid, right? Oh, I only need like we only need $20 a week for lunch, right? And this is before we had jobs. Mm-hmm. That shit bought you a fucking French fry and a small soda. That's all it could get you Monday through Friday, right? So like we were either stealing money or stealing food from the cafeteria or asking homies to buy us shit. Then I started smashing cans up on my head. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I
eating
swear.
good. Dude, I was eating taco line. I was getting extra French fries.
So class comes out, right? It's lunchtime, right? This is what I'm picturing right now. Like that fucking bell rings, right? Class is over. This fool goes out. I see this fool at this specific lunch table going
first one at the table too.
Alex Costa needs some lunch. You want to see some can smash on his ass? Pay up.
Hey, so no, it only went on for like literally like 2-3 weeks, but
I'm sorry, hold on. 2-3 weeks, bro. The word only doesn't come before 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, dude.
That's a long ass time so people were entertained by your fucking can smashing for 2-3 weeks.
Especially when you're in high school. You know how long 2-3 weeks is for high school?
So what was your
It's
next
forever.
business venture after that shit?
I started working at Burger King.
Okay.
Shout out BK. Then I started having money, you know what I'm saying? But no, so all I would do is be like, hey, whatever you guys have, just throw it on the table. Each day, I would only do one can at lunch. So this is only at lunch, right? I wasn't just like between class, like, hey, come through, and smash my shit right before class, right? And I probably make like $4 or $5 every single day for like 3 weeks.
This makes so much sense, though, kind of, about you.
And right here, and it's sometimes, though, low key, right, I would do it and be like, oh, shit, I'm good, and go to the bathroom. I'm like, fuck. That shit's all bruised and shit. There's a big-ass circle. I'm like, damn, dude, this shit hurts.
This is one of the funniest, saddest stories on earth.
I'm all praying. I'm like, when is it going to end? When can I start making some money, please? Shit.
Dog, you know what the funny thing is? Because so Alex raps and shit, your lyrics about your life are going to be the most hilarious thing ever. Yo, I was broke as fuck, breaking cans over the forehead.
Gang, you know what I'm
Everybody's going to be like, wait, what? What's going on with these lyrics?
Gang.
Yeah.
Bro,
I'm
who
from
the
the
fuck
hood,
are
bro.
you, dude?
That's not even hood shit, dude.
That's hood. We smashing cans over here,
bro. I was like, I grew up pretty poor around some hood people. We never had to fucking break cans over our
Hey,
head.
catch me on the corner, crush can. No. You have to stutter, right? No. No.
Everybody's like, hey, yo, Alex, you trying to sling some drugs for some money? Nah, I got this can crushing gang locked real quick.
I'm like, it's going good for me. Y'all should hop in. I like start a whole pyramid scheme by it. Hey, you sign up 3 people to smash cans. You don't have to do it no more. And then they start doing it. I'm like, shit.
You gonna start talking like James Toney real quick, dude. Hey, you come around here to book a kill my head.
Hey, I swear, I stutter a lot too. That could be it. But I do think because one time when we were little kids, we had like, you know how like you have like cabinets like this, we had it on our wall, and me and my brother were wrestling, and we had one of those old ass TVs, right, with the back sticking out of it and shit.
You eat that too with the skin on?
Hey, I took a bite of it. Kind of tastes weird. Nah, no. We were wrestling, and all of a sudden I was like fading in from a white. Right? Like it was all of a sudden everything was white and it was slowly fading in. That TV fell and smashed my head.
Hold on a second. And then you didn't even know it fell on your head until people told you it fell on your head.
No, because all of a sudden, like we were playing and all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck? Because it was like coming from white to color. And my brother's like, oh, you good? Like the fucking thing.
You said from what? Like a TV fell on your head. No, it didn't.
Dude, I got so many, like we had a big ass staircase on that house, right?
It fell on your head?
No, kinda, nah. We had a dog named Nico, right? Hey, shout out, hey, RP Nico, man. And what's it called? So he used to like hate us as kids, right?
Yeah.
So we used to like fuck with him on purpose, and I was standing at the top of the stairs, right?
Yeah.
And he was sitting there looking at me, and I was doing like, he used to hate when he used to go like at him. It didn't matter if you were in his face or far away, right? And then all of a sudden he started going. So you knew he was getting mad, and this fool starts running at me and jumps to bite me, and I was already on the rail, and I kind of jumped, but I jumped too much, and I fell off the complete top. Flew and landed on our computer desk, bounced off, landed on my stomach on the floor, and just got up and started running. Like I wasn't hurt at all.
Bro, you're a little hood rat, bro.
That's fucking insane, dude.
But hey,
how the fuck are you alive, man? Yo, after you die, they gotta do a study on that skull. Because I think the military need to use that shit for a bulletproof vest.
I think I've only ever met one person that I know, our homie Gilbert, that has the same size head as me.
Gilbert has so
the biggest head ever, dude.
That fool is the definition of pan-faced gook.
It's weird, right? Because our head it's like the same, like I guess thickness, but our head looks so different.
You guys don't even need to spar with your hands. Just headbutt the fuck out of people, dude.
Hey,
you got some big ass heads. But the difference is that your head matches your body because you're buff. You think.
Bro, Gilbert's head, dude. When that fool was when he was doing keto and he lost a bunch of weight, he looked like a lollipop for real.
Yo, I got a fat ass fucking head too. I ain't gonna lie. Because when I started losing weight, I started seeing pictures. I'm like, damn, look at that dome, dude.
Yeah, I got like that little hot dog pack right here too on my neck. You know?
Hot dog bag.
Little sausages. Hey, dude, my neck, when I got big, so I didn't get like, what was your biggest size?
I was 270.
Okay, so I got 250, which is different, right? Because I've been 250 again.
And you're
but
like
not,
5'7",
but not
what,
the same.
right?
Yeah, I'm 5'7". But the first time I got 250 wasn't like good. Like it was like a lot of fat. My neck was 20 inches, right?
Fuck.
So
dude.
like this was so big, and I was telling him like there used to be times where I'd be like laying on my pillow, and then all of a sudden go, like I started choking myself.
You started choking on your own fat?
Dude.
No, I ain't never been that fat though.
But you know, it was a mixture
That
of
shit crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it was a mixture of like I have a big neck right from lifting. It's a lot of tensing up in your neck and it builds the muscles. But then it was getting fat.
Yeah, I don't know what
too.
that's like. I don't be lifting.
Not yet, fool.
But yeah, dude.
man,
All right, hey.
Damn.
Hey,
that's so
thank you to
crazy.
everybody that supported my hustle, the smashing cans, dog. Look where I'm at.
You made me who I am.
I'm on
to this-
GeniusBrain, baby.
Yo,
Come
to
on.
this day,
Hey.
you made me who I am. This fool, you were such an obscure human being. When we first met Alex, though, when I first met, this fool wouldn't say anything. He was so fucking mad quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet.
Well, first time I met Alex, I was very skeptical of him because he
Well, look
was
at
very
him.
quiet. I was like, what's this guy's deal? I couldn't figure this dude out because he literally wouldn't disclose too much information about himself until now, where he's telling us his fucking origin story. And it's literally the craziest thing I've ever heard.
So when I met Nick at Fight Academy, like I met obviously all the coaches, everybody's cool there. But I was like, hey, I could see like Nick is cooler. And I was still newer to, not cooler, but I mean like
Yeah.
I could vibe with him, right?
Saw them ears
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
just
like,
like,
been through
well,
shit.
my whole thing is, I was,
This man has been through stuff.
I know. Hey, we ain't hanging out just in the parking lot. No more, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, real quick,
too
I'm not
comfortable
going to
with
cut
Alex.
that out, but apologies. Every now and then, you guys know I grew up in Sacramento. I'm trying not to use that word as
This
much.
is real life,
Outside
my
time.
guys.
I've
This is
gotten
real
good at
life.
it
Yeah.
because you know I'm from Southside Phoenix. That's where
Yeah.
we grew up too. A lot. I used to say it a lot
Isn't that
too.
crazy though? It's like that's the first time I've ever slipped up on a podcast. I'm not gonna edit it out.
It's because you're around this
Yeah,
dude.
I'll tell you this though, guys. Like I'm saying, I've done my best not to say it. It's just when I go back to Sacramento. You know what happens though is because I was just on the phone with my buddy from Sacramento, right? Yeah, obviously a black guy, but sometimes people just get weirded out when I go back home. They're like, "You don't say that anymore?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm trying not to." They're like, "I did." Yeah, I'm like, "Ah,
Dude, and people don't understand. It's like, yeah, that's all I hung out with, right? Was black people. And like, even in rap music, when we were rapping, I would say it all the time too.
Yeah.
It was no issue. We'd go to parties, freestyle in front of a bunch of people. Was no issue. But, you know, I've gotten used to not saying it. But like when we hang out and like, you know what
Yeah, and the reason
it's
why
like-
I don't
it
shy
just
away
comes
from
out.
it because I feel like when, like I saw, you know, when this whole topic was a big issue, specifically on Facebook, everybody on the moms were talking about it, right? They're like, yo, if you say that word, you're a piece of shit if you're not black, right? But even within the black community, people don't like black people using it. That's
Yeah.
why my thing is like, look, if black Americans as a culture can't figure it out, then we should just shouldn't say it at all, right? Because that's their thing. So when I started getting irritated because I knew specific people that grew up saying that word their whole fucking life, and they're on Facebook shitting on everybody. I was like, I can't believe you would use that word.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know,
bro,
it's
you
like-
just were using it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you shit on people? Like, you should be like, okay, I understand now, but they're trying to act as if they've never used it before.
Yeah.
Because in Sacramento, a lot of people use that word. It was just like I remember the first time somebody taught me how to use it when I was a little kid. It was, so my parents own, obviously everybody knows that they own a black beauty supply store. So every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there used to be a block party, right? It was kind of hood like that. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, block party would come out. I shit you not, like roughly around 5 p.m. People would put up cardboard and shit next to my parents' a store, and they would just start shooting dice outside of my parents' store. And our store was next to this joint called Lord Tony's Artistic Fingers. And so they heated nails and weaves and all of the shit. So he was like a nail shop. Lo and behold, the guy went to jail. He had to shut his shit down. But there was a block party every weekend, and I used to be that young little Asian kid that was outside, and all like the black dudes, the OGs, I would kick it with them.
And then teach you how to play dice. And that's when David became a dice champion.
Exactly.
Hey,
And it just like,
hey,
what's up, man? And I would come out in my pimp suit, that shit, as a little 5-year-old kid. But they would encourage me to say that shit all the time. So
Yeah.
like for me, it would just became like one of those things where I felt like I was a part of an exclusive group.
And that's David's origin story. That's his origin story.
That's my normal origin story. So, yeah, but they would be shooting dice and shit. And there was this dude named Mose that had a food truck out there, and he would even tell me to say that shit, right? So he would call me little N-word. And every time I would order the same shit, I would get the Philly cheesesteak because my parents like that shit. And I used to get these things. Shout outs to Jim Boy's Tacos sponsor me. Jim Boy's is like
Shout
this
out.
NorCal like fucking
And Avenue 26.
Oh yeah, Avenue 26.
Shout out.
But I used to get those little fried tacos. I used to order it every time, and every time I walked up, he called me little N-word. And I said, "Oh, I feel great." You're like, "Oh, I'm that guy."
It is weird. Like same thing, right? Growing up with kids, like I remember specifically, I had a best friend in 5th grade who literally wanted me to say it. Because it was cool, right? We were best friends. He's like, "Hey, you can say it. You can call me it." Like it probably sounds weird, but he wanted me to say it, right?
Yeah.
So like, already at a young age.
He was a little Chinese kid.
No, he was black. He was black.
He was a little Chinese kid.
Alex.
I'm like, it was some white kid. He really wanted me to say it for some reason.
Alex,
I had no idea.
Hey man, you could say N-word whenever you want. I'm going to get this guy to say it so bad.
Hey, no, but yeah, 5th grade, that was my homie. And yeah, but then just growing up where we grew up, right? I grew up around a lot of Hispanics and black people, a lot of Bloods and that type of stuff. And it was just normal. And then growing up, a lot of my friends, Hispanics, a lot of Hispanics say it. That's not like not known, right?
Especially out here too.
Yeah, and yeah, so it was kind of normal. But I would say we're pretty good at when we're in professional settings. Obviously, we're not just dropping it like all the time, right? I know there's a switch. I know when it's okay to be said and not okay to be said.
People of our generation are slowly dying out with that. Well, obviously not in the hood areas. I think it's still going to be there. I think it's like it was because it was such an integral thing and it wasn't a big issue when we were growing up. We just have to make that shift now.
Yeah,
that's the hard part is the shift. And what I always tell people is like, sometimes when people slip up, like even my friends too, like they still say it, but they're black, so that is what it is. So, but they, there's like a grace period. They're just like, okay, the shift is happening. It's going to take a while for people to kind of get that out of their system because that's what they grew up with, and it was used in a positive term. But now it's just to be mindful of just like, okay,
everybody, you just don't want to offend somebody. Yeah, and that was a thing too. Like when I moved out here, right, I knew my mom and like my aunt and uncle. So, like, obviously, when I was meeting new people, I wasn't just saying it all the time.
That would have been dope if you did, though. You should have.
I just cracking up about that one Chinese kid that just comes up to you.
Your best friend going up.
My N-word, it's okay. Just say it all the time, man. Just say it. Use it like a machine gun.
Nah, yeah, but, yeah.
It'd probably you'd probably get away with it more if you just said it in that accent. On your podcast.
Oh, for sure. If I had a thick Chinese accent, people would just laugh.
Yeah, people would think it was funny, right?
They would love it if you did it.
That's
or they'd murder you. Either or. It's just like
I don't know, man. When I had this, I did a college show, and it's so funny because sometimes you don't realize the reach of the stuff that you do like on this platform, because I've been on this platform now for 10 plus years. So some of these kids who have seen me, they see me since they were 11 or 12 years old, which I don't even know why they were watching my shit at that young of an age, but they loved it. They've defined their personalities off of the stuff that I've said.
That's also internet kids too,
Yeah, and I would never think that was the ripple effect that I would have. Funniest fucking shit. I go to this college show, this Chinese kid comes up to me, right? He was
oh no.
And I'm
Get
not
ready
even,
for it.
This my man's right here. He came up to me. He was like, "Hey David, I got to tell you something, man. Like I came here when I was 12 years old. I learned how to curse from you fucking shit, man." I'm like, "Oh shit." He was like, "Man, fuck everything, right, man?" I'm like, "Yo, bro, hey, fuck everything, fool. I don't care about nothing. Fuck you, fuck everyone, man." I'm like,
you're like, yo, this dude is dope.
I'm like, "Hey man, you need to tone it down a little bit. You ain't gotta curse that much, man." But he said he learned how to speak English and curse from me.
Damn.
With the worst person to learn how to speak English from. Yeah.
Nah, but you're very eloquent when you speak.
The worst thing is hearing someone cuss and you can like physically tell that they don't want to, but they're trying to, like they're new to it. I had a homie like that too, and he would be like, "Yeah, what the fuck?"
Like, hey man, you don't have to say that.
What? Just commit, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Just like his voice like shake. What the fuck? I'm like, dog. You don't have to cuss because you hang out with us. Yeah, that shit. I'll do that.
You know what the funny shit is though?
Don't do that.
Here's the fucking funny thing, right? Because as a young kid, I would drop the N-bomb all the time, right? But I would never curse, and it's because I grew up at a church. And so when I used to say the F word, F word.
Oh yeah,
I used to like. It used to make me feel like I was going to go to hell tomorrow because my dad's a pastor. Yeah. So that was a weird thing. Like I remember as a kid cursing and feeling like a piece of shit. like I would say the words like I would say shit or fuck, and that, I think, mind you, this is like when I was like 13 years old. But I remember when I was cursing, I used to feel sick inside my stomach because I grew up in a church household. I was a really wholesome kid that was stabbing people in the face. Ooh. So like, but you know, Bibles have stories
for a good reason though.
Yeah, they deserved it.
They deserved it because they're messing with you.
That fool was eating a mango in front of me with the skin on. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, but I straight up, I used to feel really sick in my stomach cursing. I remember I used to when I cursed because I was trying to kick it with people. I was that kid because I was like, oh, these people curse, and I'd be like, that's fucking tight.
That's fucking tight.
And it would sound so weird.
Yeah.
Like whispering in your breath.
I'm sure this won't surprise you, but I've been cussing since like forever, right? Yeah. Me and my brothers were always good to where we never did it in front of our parents, like my mom or dad.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
Yeah.
Cussing. It just, my dad says,
I'm sorry,
fuck.
Kindergarten, bro? That's 5 years old.
Yeah, dude, what's the matter with you?
Dad's favorite words, my papa's favorite words.
My papa.
Fuck, shit, right? Those 2 words, right? My uncle, for real, a lot of Hispanics have this uncle that say fuck for everything. Oh, that fucking thing was fucking crazy, right? Yeah. Like, he's one of those, right? Yeah. So we just grew up around it. My mom just said, like, she would say, like, shit and stuff, right? And ass and shit. But yeah, we were cussing from
everybody. I'm definitely going to be that uncle that's going to be dropping F-bombs. But the weird thing is, like, a lot of my friends, they be cursing in front of their kids all the time now, but their kids aren't allowed to curse. So
I don't understand that. I'm like, don't do it then, because that's what happened to us. And then we were terrified to do it. Like, we wouldn't ever want to do it in front of my dad. Even to this day, my dad's like, hey, stop cussing. I'm like, fuck that shit, dog.
Fuck
I'm
you,
a grown-ass man. I'm like, trying to fight or what? Fool, I start stalking my dad out, stomping out.
He's like,
that's for never peeling the mangoes.
I'm like, hey, punch his neck, dog. Dad's on the floor, I'll beat him. He goes, I fucking love you, son. I taught you right to stand up for yourself. Don't ever let me punk you ever again, fool.
It's all about familia,
fool. Fuck yeah.
Hey, shout out my papa. Love him.
Yeah, except for all the times he'll make you eat spaghetti and beat your
spaghetti.
ass.
Yeah, so if no one knows, this is a story. My dad was one of the people that we sat at the table. He gave us food. We didn't get to choose how much we got. He was one of the ones where we weren't allowed to just be like, oh, you know, I'm full. I'm going to go put this in the sink, go in my room, whatever like that. We had to get up from the table, walk to the couch, show him our plate or our bowl. And then he had to approve it. If he said no, we had to
go to prison?
Yeah, bro.
That sounds like some prison shit.
I don't know if he ever did, honestly. I don't think he did. I know my uncle did, the fuck uncle. He went.
Of course, fucking
he was
shit.
in there.
Fucking shit.
But, yeah, I love all my uncles, my dad and shit, but it's funny. My dad was like that. So, like, he used to give us spaghetti, and, like, we never had snacks, like, in the house growing up and stuff like that. You know, my parents lived on a tight budget. But when he would make spaghetti, the bowl was, like, fucking 5 pounds of spaghetti, right? And you're just like, fuck. Every time he make it like twice a week. You're like, God damn, right? Like, so someone came up off say you were sitting with me, you wanted to go get a drink of water. I'm trying to scoop my shit up in your bowl, right? Like, because it was so much. But
why he make so much spaghetti for?
Because we didn't eat throughout, like, the day. Like, say if it was, like, a weekend, right? We didn't go to school and have school lunch.
Yeah.
Like, he would make us breakfast sometimes, or sometimes, like, you know, we just eat, like, something small, something like that. And then we'd eat spaghetti for dinner, right? Or ramen. He would make, I remember that was like a big thing in our house. He would make ramen. He would put a bunch of ramen, put
Cook
eggs
it
in
for 5
it.
minutes. Cook the noodles for 5 minutes.
You already know. Put egg in it.
Soggy
right
ass
there.
noodles.
And yeah, so like I remember it was weird because growing up, like I started to realize like when my dad started making better money, you know?
As the food started changing.
The food started changing because I still remember one day, I've never even told him this, that I remembered it. I think I might have told you this story, but there was one night where he like tried to send us to bed, right? He was like, oh, guys, go to bed. It's bedtime. And it was like earlier than our normal bedtime. And so like I remember going to bed and I was just really hungry and we didn't eat dinner yet. Right. So like I go out into the living room. My dad's like, what's up? I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry. He's like, all right, go back in your room. Right. So then like 20 minutes passed. He's like, all right, guys, come out here and eat. Right. And it was just like corn tortillas with some like mayonnaise and a hot dog on it. And then like the next day he went and like I think it was like a Friday. He went and got a bunch of food. So now that I'm older, I realized like, oh, he probably didn't have any money to go get food. Yeah. He was trying to send us to bed and then just made up some shit, right?
Yeah.
Just like corn tortilla, mayonnaise, and a hot dog. Shit
That
still
shit
slap.
right, that shit that okay, first of all.
Shit still slap though.
That shit right there was the biggest struggle meal I've ever heard in my life. You said my dad had a tortilla, mayonnaise, and hot dogs, dude. I would have looked at my dad in the face. I was like, just give me the hot dog, man.
Hey,
like, take that
that's true.
I don't need them. I don't need the tortilla food.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's why I love my parents, because they tried to never. I never knew we were like broke growing up, right?
Neither did I.
Never knew I was broke growing up. Yeah, it was like weird because I would always get like hand me down like clothes or something like that, right? But like my dad, we didn't know at the time, but he would take us to like the outlets, right, to get shoes like once for school, like right before school started. We got a pair of shoes and like at the Mills Mall, it was like an outlet mall, right? So cheap clothes, but that was the time we got clothes. But as we started getting older, my dad, you know, both of my parents, my mom started getting higher up positions and stuff like that. We were like, oh, let's go eat out.
We
Like,
got that
cool.
filtered water now,
Yeah,
man.
well, let's go eat out. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. So it was cool. Now that I'm older and I can see and like I know about money and how tight money can get and stuff, it's kind of cool to see like, oh, my parents still like kept us all together.
Yeah.
Though they were divorced, right? They were divorced from when I was a kid. We had to switch houses every week, but both of them made it so like we never knew.
That's the interesting too. I feel like because I didn't know that I was poor, and I've said this before, until I went to college. It's when I started comparing my life to other people's lives, and they would say like crazy shit, like, "Man, we used to go on vacation." I was like, "Vacation? The fuck is that, bro?" It's like what you do is you take time off, and then you spend money to go to a different country. I'm like, with what?
You're like, for why though?
Yeah, why? They're like, to have fun. Fun? Like, they started saying some, what you mean fun? Like they would say some crazy shit. Like I started comparing my lives, and especially kids who didn't get their ass beat. So I would start telling these stories about me getting my ass beat, and they were like,
They're
what?
horrified.
They were like, yeah, they were horrified, or they felt sorry for me. I'm like, y'all ain't got stories like that? They're like, no, my parents would talk to me. I'm like, talk? Like, what are you saying?
No wonder you're such a pussy.
Exactly. Like they would say like these crazy stuff to me that was crazy, but to them, my life was so weird. Like they thought, you know, because I got my ass beat, we grew up really poor, and that was the thing too. Because I started realizing my parents were making money too. Was the same thing. We would go out to eat dinner a little more, and my parents were really smart about not letting people know how much we were struggling, because they didn't want any hand-me-downs or hand-me-outs, right? So it was hard, because I feel like a lot of Asian people too, even though they're struggling financially, they won't take welfare because they think that's a sign of weakness. So it's like, fuck, man, take the fucking welfare, man. Like we need this money. But I would have never known at the time either way, because my parents were so good at like hiding and guarding us from that shit. Because every clothes that I had was a hand-me-down, or right around my parents' store. So there's like the liquor store we used to call Punjabs. Apparently it's not the name. That's just
Why did you guys call it Punjabs?
because there's Punjabi people that own it.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And
What's a Punjabi person, real quick?
A Punjabi person is, well, it's Indian Punjabi, right?
Yeah.
Not the same. They get really particular about that, but
I think they wear turbans. No, the males wear turbans, the Punjabs.
I believe,
One of my best friends growing up was
Punjabi.
I think he was Punjabi.
yeah.
You call them Punjabs?
No, that's what he said. Is that what I said?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, shit, I
Any
slept up.
Punjabi, here's the thing.
Punjab. So like, oh Jesus.
Any Punjabi people out there, feel free to write in the comments and correct us, because I would like people to know the difference. But so there's this joint called Punjabs. Punjabs is what we call them. We used to call them Punjabs. My whole life, I thought it was the name of the store, and it is not. And I only found out a few years ago when I went back. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to Punjabs real quick and get a drink.
You're like, what?
And
What'd
I
you
looked
just
up,
say?
and it just says liquor store. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm an asshole.
I was like, holy shit, everybody in the neighborhood called it Punjabs. And it got to the point where the owner said, welcome to Punjabs. So it just came to that point. But it was, I guess it started off as like a racially derogatory thing.
Yeah.
But after a while, you know, once you become a part of the neighborhood, you're a neighborhood staple, you know, it just is what it is. Like everybody, you know, like people used to call my dad N-word Chino.
Oh shit! That's kind of dope though.
Yeah,
That's a dope mix though. You
exactly.
know? You got that,
And
you
we're
know.
Chino. So I'm like, oh, so that's what it's like. So I just thought
black
it was
and brown
Punjabs.
mix in there. That's dope.
Yeah, but I never knew that I grew up poor, and then we started making a little more money. Then food is the biggest factor.
Yeah, that was the
Food
thing.
starts to change. I remember like I used to get kind of hungry at night, and then one time my dad, I think it's just we had food and we always ate well, because Korean food is not that expensive to make, specifically Asian food back in the day, because a lot of the throwaway food that American people like like now. Shout outs to my white people. Fuck you guys for making oxtail so expensive. Just kidding. I love white people.
Yeah,
I still haven't had that yet. Every time I go, I gotta try it one time.
Oh, you gotta get that oxtail soup.
He don't like Top Restaurant though. What's up with that?
I know. What's up with you not liking Tops, bro? That's the oxtail soup, man, that you're missing out on, bro. It's fucking fire, man.
So delicious.
Yeah, but
Oxtail fried rice. Forget
oxtail
about it.
used to be free.
Nuts.
Like if you went to a white grocer, it was like a throwaway shit. So they would just. My mom would used to get oxtails, and we used to get oxtail soup all the time.
That's what we grew up drinking too. Oxtail soup.
Yeah,
oxtail
so soup. Food was like mad cheap for us. It's like cabbage, fermented vegetables, and we would eat that shit with rice.
Now it's all hipster, Now oxtail's all hipster for some reason.
But even my aunt didn't know that we were poor because it was so funny. So I was hanging out with this one this YouTuber. Like we used to hang out all the time. Like she's doing her own thing. Shout outs to fuck her. I ain't gonna shout her out. Yeah, she's lightweight annoying. But we used to kick it a lot. But my aunt and I was like telling her, like, yeah, like we didn't have a lot of money growing up. And my mom was like, you had money. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like she was like laughing. She was like, you guys had money. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, if I would know, like I lived that life.
Well, people always want to also like think that they know about your life.
Exactly.
Anyway, too,
And so when I got really irritated in that conversation, and I was like, how the fuck would you guys know? Like your husband worked a government fucking job, and you guys were fine. You guys were fine the whole time. You guys would go on vacations while we would sit on our ass and watch you go on vacation. So what the fuck do you know? And so I called my mom and I was like, yo, how come auntie thinks that we grew up money? She goes, because she never knew. We never told her about how much we were struggling. Like she just never fucking knew. So I was like, why's she coming out the side of her mouth like that to me? I was like, what the fuck do you know? Like you didn't.
That's crazy.
That's also good on your parents though, because like no one needs to know your guys' business anyways, And that was the thing, like that was the biggest thing was food, right? So like we never had snacks in our house. Like
same here.
Pop-Tarts and all that type of shit, right? We never used to have it. So when I was in elementary school, I remember like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade is when we started going to a town called Ahwatukee, right? Which was kind of like a richer area. We used to call it all white Tukey, and that's what we called it, right? But like the people out there were like, they had money. So like I remember I had a couple friends, especially in 4th grade was the biggest one, when my friend was like, because he used to bring Pop-Tarts. And this is when I found out about hot fudge sundae Pop-Tarts. If you haven't had those, the best Pop-Tarts,
that
dude.
shit slap.
Hot fudge sundae.
I actually just like the strawberry one.
I like
that
the
one
brown
slaps
sugar
too.
one.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Brown sugar is good too.
Brown sugar fire.
Sugar's
Strawberries bomb. Blueberry, throw it away. But hot fudge sundae, dude.
Get rid of it.
He brought it once. I'm like, oh, dude, what's that? And he gave me a bite. I'm like, oh shit. He's like, you haven't had it? I'm like, nah. He would bring me Pop-Tarts every single day, dude.
That's dope.
Every single day.
This dude Alex, every time we take him to a restaurant, something's fucking fire. This fool eats like the most basic shit. He goes, yo, where the chef at? Yo, tell the chef to come out real quick.
Tell him come out. I'm gonna give him a dap.
Hey, real quick.
Goes, this blanched spinach right now slaps.
This shit slaps as fuck.
That was the thing, yeah. No snacks. This is to the point, right? I remember this so clearly at my mom's house in North Phoenix. We didn't have anything to eat and snack on. We used to walk home from school after school. My brother Michael, he goes in there. He comes out. He starts eating something. I'm like, what is it? He's like, bacon. Right? I'm like, bacon? He's like, yeah,
is that?
Bacon. And I look at it, I go in the pantry, he was eating the dog treats that look like bacon.
Oh my God.
Dude, that was like, a turn.
And he was like, tastes the same. I'm like,
dog, straight up.
No.
Yo.
It don't.
Did you see that?
No.
Did you see that documentary on Netflix? I'm gonna talk about another podcast, but it's like this documentary about that kid who got beat up and he got murdered on. That's your life, dude. Like where they would just what's it called? When fucking social services come over and they fail.
CPS.
That's your life, dude.
Yeah.
Social service will fail your ass.
Yeah, we didn't have snacks, no chips or something like that.
You guys didn't have any snacks in your house to the point when he saw dog food, he was like, "That's
about right."
I think that's what fucking white people call snacks.
I think this is what they call bacon.
Yeah, dude, that shit that was funny. But
That's funny that your dog had snacks, but you guys didn't.
I know, huh? Hey, shout out my puppies though, dude.
Your dog had snacks, but you guys didn't have snacks. That's fucking funny, dude.
Oh my God, dude.
But it was cool. Like I said, I like the way. Now that I'm older, I'm very happy, and we didn't get hit. Right, they didn't hit us. I maybe got spanked one time, but
you guys should have got smacked up a little bit.
But my dad was the dad that he just looked at us and he did this.
Like
this hand, just the hand, like all scrunched together, and we were just kind of scared of him, so we never did anything. So like,
so you didn't have to whip
but
your
when
ass,
when we got grounded, and I see this nowadays, even with people I know that have kids, when they ground their kids, I'm like, you're not grounding them, right? When we got grounded, we were grounded. Like I remember 5th grade was my worst year. I told you guys stories about 5th grade, right? 5th grade was my worst year. I got grounded for a month, and that was a month, and I was at both houses. Every Friday we switched the house. That house, nothing. Had to stay in my room, only able to leave to go bathroom, eat, and shower. Both houses. That was us when we got grounded. But I see people, even my little sister gets grounded. She's going out with her friends like 2 days later. I'm like, that shit was grounded. What the hell's going on?
What's grounded then to them? Because my parents tried to ground me, but that shit didn't work because I would just jack off all day in the room.
Same.
They'll be like, you're grounded. I'm like, please, I beg you, ground me right now, dude. I beg you, dude. Dude, I had so much shit in my spank bank. Just
Do you have any siblings?
I got an older brother.
You got an older brother?
Yeah, he was my older brother comparatively to me. He was the golden child, right? So he went to UC San Diego, got really good grades, never got into a single fight his whole life. His screen name and his nickname in high school was Goody Two Shoes because he would never ever curse.
When you meet his brother, you're like, oh, you guys aren't related at all.
Yeah, he's like 5'8".
How old is he? Older than you?
Yeah, he's 3 years older than me.
3 years. Oh, okay. That's like my oldest brother.
He's like super calm and he's very.
Did you guys share rooms when you were growing up?
Yup. So my brother used to share this room with my grandpa back in the day because we used to live in this duplex because we were broke as fuck. Shout out to being poor and poverty.
Shout out.
So my brother, I think I slept. I didn't have a separate room. Where did I sleep? I either slept in my parents' room or I slept in the living room. But my brother had to share a room with my grandpa. And my brother said that this fool used to sleep with his eyes open and snore. Dude, that's scary. And he was traumatized ever since. And so I didn't believe that shit till later on. I was like 8 years old, and we were living with on the weekends with my grandparents, and then I saw that shit firsthand. Like my grandpa would talk in his sleep with his eyes slightly open, and my grandma would also sleep with his eyes slightly open. It was scary as fuck.
They were meant for each other, dude.
Yeah, the reason why I asked you because that was the thing where I shared the room with both brothers.
Yeah,
so like. I couldn't really be like going in there, going all crazy and shit.
Yeah, but my brother was never grounded, so he was out playing. So I'd just be jacking it. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, and that shit was crazy too. I don't know, like we had a small ass room, right? I was just telling my homie this story, right? Our room was very small and we had everything for the 3 boys, right? Everything in there. It used to get really, really, really hot. And I used to tell him, like, I have a weird thing when a wet rag, if it's clean, I love the way a wet rag smells.
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
Dude, what?
I'm going to tell you the story right now. Because I think this is because from growing up doing this, right?
Your dad used to waterboard you.
No. So sometimes, like, we had, like, one fan when we were a kid, right? And still to this day, I have to sleep with an extra fan, like, right next to my face, blowing on me, right?
Dog, that's hella bad for you.
I know, but I'm so immune to it, dude. I'm so immune to it, right?
You ever heard of Korean fan death?
I don't know, bro.
I don't know that.
Put this fool on game.
So,
bro.
but through the night, every once in a while, like if you were sleeping, one of the brothers would wake up and steal it. You would wake up. The other brother had it on his bed, right? You would take it back. But there used to be nights, because I'm from Arizona, right? And it'd be hot as fuck, that I used to get up in the middle of the night, get 2 rags, wet them, lay down, put one across my stomach, and then put one across my face with cold water. Because it was so hot. And I think just from doing that all the time,
How'd you not catch pneumonia?
I used to do that when I was a kid too, actually. Yeah. You actually just brought up a memory for myself.
So it just felt
crazy.
It felt
you did that
good.
shit too?
I did that shit too.
And I think just getting used to that smell, like I like they smell good to me for some reason.
You like the smell of a wet rag?
I don't like the smell of it, but like I used to do that when I was a kid because my parents they wouldn't let me use the fan at night. Like they would get mad at me. It's like kind of like Korean fan death. Where they'd always say, they would never use the AC or the heater. And it would have to get to like ridiculous temperatures where they're like, all right, let's turn it on. We used to be pissed about it.
It's like so 140. All right, we'll put it to 110. You're like shit.
That's the other indicator that we started doing better was my parents started using the AC.
Oh,
that was one of the biggest indicators, and the heater. They were like, we could afford to use the AC and the heater, and that was probably when I was in high school. I was like 14 or 15, and then we started using like the amenities, like the fucking heater and shit. Yeah. That shit, dude. Let me tell you, this is not even exaggeration. We never used that shit to the point where the first time my parents asked me to use it, I didn't know how to use it. because I didn't know what the fuck it was. I was like, how do I turn this on? I've never was allowed to touch that shit. And we still have the same one. It's that old ass one that you just kind of shift over slowly.
Has like the little plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally wasn't until my place that I have now that I live with Tiff where I realized like, oh, the numbers on the thermostat.
Yeah.
It turns on when it's at that temperature. When it gets below that temperature, I'm like, no way.
Yeah. I mean, that it used to be so hot. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even remember if we used to have the AC on or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just know it used to be so hot that wet rag across my body and across my face would help me fall asleep, right? And then especially like with that fan, putting that on me, like it would be cold and it would help me fall asleep. But I need to be cold as hell when I sleep nowadays, and I need to always have a fan because like I don't know, like from maybe all the shows and stuff, you know, me and my brother have fucked up ears. So like if it gets too quiet, it's loud. Beep. So like I need some sort of noise.
Or it's from
like,
all the cans you smashed on your head.
Hey. You right. Hey, you right. Hey, you right.
Yo, you have been through so much shit now. It's like you have to live in perpetual shit for you to be comfortable. That's the funniest thing.
This fool lives in a house with 11 people,
because we gotta talk about that before we leave this podcast real quick, because we about to rock another one after this. But let me tell you something, man. This dude, listen, like if I took a photo of where he lived right now, and you would this is what you guys would say.
It looks like a POW
How did you get somebody from Tijuana here so fast? His shit is decrepit. And you know what? Like I'm talking about like the ghettoest parts of Tijuana, which I've been to. Looks exactly like where you live.
We got lemons though.
Dog, unless those lemons are you selling it outside like a little white girl? For
I should though, like low key, dude.
Those lemons are fat as fuck too.
Hey, we got lemons though, everybody. We got lemons.
You got a lemon tree.
Pull up to San Gabriel. My boy selling lemons.
Yo, this guy right here, real quick. This fool's over here fucking cooking up coronavirus in that kitchen. Because that shit is decrepit. He lives in a place, right, which I don't even think, real talk, is supposed to be livable in that situation.
He's like, yo, it's for real not. Like, want to hear a funny story? I don't know if I told you this already, right? So, yes, I rent a room out of a house, right? And this little Asian lady and an older Asian guy, they run it. The little Asian lady's weird, and I finally got to send you guys a video to see her, right?
She looks like she's a ghost. That's what she looks like.
100%, I kid you not. I would be surprised if she was less than 150 years old.
Dude, and she haunts your house. She's not a real person. She haunts your house.
Yeah, she's crazy, right? But this girl, so yeah, number one, I remember one time we had to fix the bathroom upstairs, right? They had to get a new toilet. So the guy asked me, he was like, hey, this is the first part. Do you have anywhere to stay by chance? Just in case they say something. I'm like, what do you mean? Because all of a sudden they started closing the door in front of my door and the person right next to me's door.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, do you just have somewhere to stay while they fix the bathroom if the city comes? I was like, yeah, sure. Does that mean like I pay half rent? And he was like, well, why would you pay half rent? I'm like, because you're kicking me out for the first 2 weeks of the month.
Yeah.
Like, why would I have to pay full rent? And then, like, the next day, he tells me, he's like, hey, so if the city makes us, is it okay if we break down the wall between you and the next door neighbor and put a curtain? And I was like, no, I'll move out.
Yeah.
And his response, well, why? I'm like, because I'm not going to fucking separate my room with a curtain. Like, number one, the wall is so thin, and I was telling them there's like, they didn't build it all the way, so there's a crack in the window that I can literally put my fingers in the other person's room.
Oh my God.
One of the old neighbors.
That's the most Asian thing I've ever heard.
One of the old neighbors that used to live right there, right? We used to bless each other when each other sneezed. So like someone would sneeze, to be like, bless you. You would hear him. Bless you. And then the fucking guy upstairs had a fucking little bird. That shit used to go crazy all the time. He used to be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. The bird would just fucking go berserk out of nowhere, right? But yeah, so that little Asian lady lives there. I was telling them, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. to beep, 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 beep. So I run downstairs. The fire alarms are going off. She's like cooking like a fucking full smorgasbord of food, dog. There's 3 pots and pans on the fucking stove, right? And she just cooks random shit throughout the day. Sometimes it smells bomb, not gonna lie. She makes those little things I was telling you today, those little buns or whatever the fuck.
Little
and then
bows.
Sometimes she makes some stuff that smells fucking horrendous,
Some
dude.
sticky tofu.
Dude, it smells up the whole house, but I love it. It's comfy. You know, so I was telling him.
Pause. I love it.
So the whole thing is like, you know, I've gotten so used to it that it's comfortable.
That's your whole life though. Like
You sound like a battered woman, you know.
and I want to exactly. You legit sound like
crying and shit. I'm like, fuck.
but I love him. I love him.
Like I feel like this is so weird because he told me how much he pays for the spot, right? He pays $700 for this half-lit room, this hostel room with birds shitting everywhere,
towel walls.
with towel walls. Like if some dude was jacking off and he came onto that wall, it would seep to the other side. That's how thin it's made out of paper mache.
His wall would move.
Exactly.
For real, probably is, dude.
And his fucking landlord is not even alive. It's a ghost. Have you ever even touched her? I bet you go right through her.
She's an apparition, and she wears 1 million different patterns at once.
Dude, she's weird, dog.
All you need to do is ask her one question. He goes, "Who's your dad?" He goes, "Well, in the 17th century." She starts floating away.
In the Ming Dynasty.
The Ming Dynasty.
Yeah,
Said, your father? I'm not here, Alex.
She's one of the ghosts from Mulan. Remember the animated ones?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
You got a
they're,
little-
they're
you got a
crazy.
little
Did I tell you the one time I saved their dog?
No.
So,
Bro,
hey,
can I say something real quick? You have way too many stories about the place that you live in.
You need to move the
hey, that's
fuck
why it's,
out.
hey, low key, that's why it's hella dope, dog. Hey, there's always shit happening, right? So, hey, I'll tell you this story real quick. So, they got a new little
This
puppy.
dude has 1 million stories of this.
They got a
fucking
new
place.
little puppy, right? A little border collie, black and white one.
Yeah, shit expensive.
And so first time I walk in the house, they don't tell anybody, right? So I walk in the house, I see the shit, I jump up on the stairs. I'm like, there's a fucking skunk in here, right? And I'm like tripping
Bro, that's
out.
where your brain goes. There's a
That's
skunk.
how shitty your place is. That seeing a skunk inside the house is the first thing that you think of. That's how shitty the place that you
He
live in
runs
is.
up the stairs instead of leaving.
Hey, but so then I look, I'm like trying to see it, and it little calls out the cutest thing, right? It's all looking at me. I'm like, oh shit. They're like, oh yeah, we got a puppy, right?
Oh shit.
So like maybe 3 weeks pass by, and I come back into the house. And the guy's looking at me. He's like, "Have you seen Happy?" That's the dog's name.
Of course.
Of course, that's
I'm
the
like,
name of the
named it
dog.
an emotion.
I was like, "No, why? What's up? Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, no, why? What's up?" "Oh, we can't find him." I was like, "Okay." "Oh, we thought you might have. Maybe you took him. Someone said they saw somebody like they might have saw somebody walking with a dog." I'm like, "No, where would I take the fucking dog?"
Yeah.
Like,
I live here.
I come back here. Like I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, we can't find him." I was like, "All right, well, I got to be at work in like an hour, but I can help you look for him, right?" And I go upstairs, and the guy upstairs is like, "Hey, did they ask you about the dog? They thought that you stole him."
Oh my god.
I was like, "Oh yeah," he asked me. He's like, "Yeah." They were like, "I think Alex took him. Someone said they saw someone with a dog." So I go downstairs. I'm like, "All right, where's the last place you saw this dog?" And then so he's like talking, I can't see him, and I start to walk up the front door, and he just goes, "Happy," right? And he runs over to he runs over to this big ass bookcase they have on there, right? And he starts yelling, "Help, help, help." So I run over there and I look real quick, and all I see is like the big ass like dresser laying down, and I see like the dog's feet.
Oh no,
Out
dude.
from there, right? So I see it, I'm just like, fuck. I just turned away, and the guy runs downstairs. I'm like, "Hey, that shit's dead, dude." He's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Help, help, help." He starts doing it. So I look, and like the feet are moving.
Oh my
So I
God.
run over there because the guy couldn't lift it up, right? And so I lift
Shit,
up. I lift
this
up.
guy can.
I lift up.
He can lift it up.
The thing, and he takes the dog out, right? And he's like, "Oh man, oh man." He's like petting it and shit. I'm like, "Well, first let's get the dog water, right? Like make sure he's okay." And I ask him, I'm like, "How long has he been missing?" And then he goes, "Well, it was like 6, and I heard like a but the door was open, so I thought like he like cried and he ran out."
oh my god.
I'm like, guess what time it was? So this happened at 6. It was fucking almost 1 o'clock
oh my
AM?
god.
p.m. So
Oh,
I'm like, this
Jesus
dog has
Christ.
been locked here, stuck
Is the
here
dog
for like
okay?
6 hours. Yeah, it was okay.
Is the dog still alive?
Yeah, it's still alive.
How, dude? What the fuck? Like,
Hey, because Superman.
I know, but like the fact that they had a dog for that long and
Dude.
it almost died in their care.
Yeah, no. So then,
Jesus
so then
Christ,
he was
dude.
like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." Right? That's when they like made me food and all this type of shit right there, right? But
After they thought you stole the
I
fucking
know, right?
dog,
They thought I
dude.
stole the fucking dog. I was like, "Oh my gosh, man!" But love my house. Hey, hit me up. I don't know why you'd hit me up about my house, but hit me up.
While he was
So
telling
let me know I'm giving you a tour of the house.
Yeah, there's gonna be no fucking tour. Just look up Chernobyl and you'll find it. Like this fool, like I looked up literally on Craigslist for a house. He pays $700 a month for this room, by the way. I looked up on Craigslist. I put a $700 cap just to see if anything is affordable for him to get. 8,000 posts were up for a place with actual
Shit.
walls and actual bathroom.
Laundry.
Hey, it's gonna happen. 2020 is the year, dude.
Dope. 2020. Do it tomorrow. Immediately. Like, because you like, I ain't gonna get no stories though. So like, I need to say
Hey, I need stories, dude. They cool, know they. I want to move out though. That is definitely the plan. I have a
doesn't
couple
seem like you
friends
do wanna move
that want to
out.
move out, and I think that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Because I don't know if I want to like
Move in
I
with
can
some
afford
random.
to get my own spot, right? But it's just like I know that how much money it's going to be, and I have
Just
a
get
couple.
another room with an actual wall.
That's true.
That's all that it takes. You don't even wait for anybody, man. And it's almost like better for you to live in a spot without your friends because that shit, you
Yeah,
don't even
no.
know what's going to happen.
And so
That's true.
sometimes, like, I almost took it. I should have done it. There is another room upstairs that's a bigger room, even has a ceiling fan and all that type of stuff. That when
It
they
even has a
It
ceiling
even has,
fan.
it even has lights and shit. It's crazy,
hey, dude,
man.
hey, my light.
There's
you
4 walls.
Hey, listen, my light. Number one, you have to flip it down to turn it on, right? So you have to flip it down, then the shit turns on, right? Hey, but that shit takes like fucking 3 minutes for it to fully be like on.
Bro, you gotta move, dude. You can stay at a Motel 6
I
and it'll
need
be
you to
way
move
better.
by summer. At least by summer.
All right, that's a good goal. I don't know. I can't talk. Want to know why I also like it so much?
What?
Why?
The shower head is brand new upstairs. That shit hits so good, dude.
Dog, when you move into a new place, I'll get you a new shower head.
Hey.
Don't even trip.
That shower head is nice, though,
I'll
dude.
teach you how to make a shower head fucking blast like a fire hydrant.
Hey, it's one of those ones. So you go and it like does the massager, and then you go.
Hey, Alex, real talk. That's every shower head that has ever existed past the 1970s.
Hey.
I'm telling you right now, most people didn't shower with a hose attached from the outside window, and they just put like a fucking spaghetti strainer on top.
Ooh.
See, most
Oh,
people-
hey, that's smart, kind of. I'm gonna start doing that.
Dude.
Hey, my mom has the best. She has one where it has a thing from up top.
and it's hot water.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's
hot
it.
water. It's hot water. I promise. And it has like it shoots down, and then she has one. She has 3. There's one mid or high level, mid, down that shoot from across.
That's like at a fancy hotel.
Dude, it's so nice. When I watched her house once, I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to leave.
Does your mom know how you live on a regular basis?
She do, and I did get offered to live with her, but she lives all the way in Upland, which is like
That's way too far.
way too far. Like I have a client in Simi Valley. That would be like an hour and a half to get
Yeah,
there.
that's too
No
long.
traffic. That's the only reason why I don't live with her. But summer is a good.
You could move out next week and then find something. I feel like you can find something next week.
I need emotionally. I need to get ready. You know,
Yeah. I feel that.
like my homie Allie, she gonna miss me, dog.
The ghost?
She's not even alive.
She's-
dude.
yeah, she's a
dead.
ghost,
She's a
dude.
ghost.
Exactly. I'm the only person that talks to the ghost, dog.
You fucking with it. Anyways, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast, the most fucking ridiculous episode we've ever had.
Alex
ever.
might be the most resilient man I've ever met in my life.
Hey,
This fool is actually a ghost dude. He's dead.
Alex is David Goggins,
hey,
bro.
live life to the fullest, dog. Look for the happy things in life.
And
You know?
that's why we love Alex. That's why we love Alex.
You know, you can be sad, but if you try to find the happiness in everything, you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
And that's
Shut
why he's the man.
fuck up.
That's why he's. That's actually.
I'm gonna go home and be sad as fuck right now. I'm not gonna be happy.
You can't even be sad. You can't even see your emotions. Your lights turn on after 5 minutes.
And I'm going to Seattle tomorrow, and I'm scared as a motherfucker. So,
Yeah, you good. Where can they find you, bitches?
Instagram Alex.GGF.
You can find me at Nick the Ear on Instagram.
You can also listen to their podcast, BigGMad, where you can see more of these dumbass stories. That's BigGMad with like 2 A's or 3 A's?
The BigGMad with 3 G's in big.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, Patrick is on it with us as well.
Oh, Pat-
Shout
yeah,
out to Patrick Riley.
I see him. I know you guys know him.
You guys
too,
know
but
Pat already.
BIGGG mad.
yeah. Could you guys have made a name that was that much harder to fucking find? My God.
You know, find the happy things in life. You know.
We have 3 G's, so it sets us apart.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys can catch the Genius Brain podcast on all platforms, you know, Spotify, iTunes, everything else like that. Funny stories. We're just here to get you on your commute and kind of talk to you guys throughout your days to keep you company, just keep you entertained. Sometimes it's smart shit, sometimes you cry, sometimes you laugh, sometimes it's all of the above. So we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.